Actually have some Doomz, Regenesis, and even Radiant Typhoon. You guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. You know, I'm actually pretty impressed to see players kind of working towards wanting to build Doomz, because I personally think this deck is really, really cool. The fact that, you know, you have a floodgate that literally punishes your opponent, but the cool thing about this list is we're not even playing the Doomz Destruction. We're actually just putting it into the side deck and having this work as a, you know, a tool that we might need to board into. Also, we are playing a copy of 7th Tachyon in here. So I guess fundamentally, as you're looking at the deck construction for this, you have a 7 Tachyon to bridge you into a piece along the way that you might potentially need, which is going to be, you know, firing the 102, because I can't really support anything else in this this wasteland of an extra deck. But, you know, I also do see that we are playing the Horus package in here. The fact that we've kind of gone back to the old concept of, hey, you know, if I can get these level 8s on the field, then we can cheese OTK the opponent through Dragooblion, and just kind of do the stupid thing. I mean, I appreciate the fact that number 100 is back in working order and is actually a piece of the, you know, the puzzle that we can work with, but I don't know, man. I just appreciate the fact that even with all of the developments across the meta and the ideas that you tend to see here, you know, this deck is still, honestly, I think pretty strong. You have a built-in OTK machine. You do have a lot of haha funny board breakers. So the fact that this deck is also not playing any thrust or any tools like that is a little bit interesting, I feel like. So you're not really getting the same standard tool set that you would want to be seeing with this, but nonetheless, good job for the performance. Ooh. We have Regenesis, but I mean, the first thing that draws my attention up here is we do get to see more of the Thunderbolt actually doing its job. I mean, anytime that something's on the extra, or special summon from the extra deck, it's a free bring out. If the conditions are set and you know, get the free punishment, it's a happy day in the neighborhood, man. That's the thing that you want to see here. It's also another 25/25 that is able to act as that nice little anchor for you to be able to kind of combo up with. And I think that's one thing I still greatly appreciate here. You know, we also do get to see, yes, this deck is using Lava Golem. Even if you're not a huge fan of the Golem, it still is another 2500 anchor. But the thing is, you need to be able to rip apart your opponent's field. It's kind of the one thing that I feel like Regenesis might actually kind of have fundamental issues with, is you need big things like this. And also, you know, you do have tools, if I recall. Yeah, this returns a monster your opponent controls to the hand, so you could warrior this back and then continue to decompose the opponent's field. You also do see we are playing the Primite package. I got to give a shout out to the best vanilla monster in the entire game, the old Psy-Frame Driver here. The fact that this is acting as a nice level 6 monster for you to be able to kind of turbo out and do all the good things that you want to is good. Also, you do have the super polys. You're also going to notice post-side decking, you know, we will have Dragon's Mind in play. You could make the argument and say, hey, you know, maybe we need to main deck these. Honestly, I don't really think you need to. I feel like at the stage of wanting to main deck this, you're just creating more bricks for this deck. And the problem is you already need this deck to be as consistent and on the ground as possible. And if you're taking that away, you know, you're just running into issues. Next up here, we have Radiant Typhoon Runic. Well, first of all, congratulations for somehow getting this down to a nice, respectable 50 cards. I appreciate that. Because one of the big things you're going to run into with playing pile decks like this is, you know, you, one, don't want the Runic cards necessarily flooding into your hand, but you need to be able to have hand traps in this. I mean, you could make the argument, well, Robbie, you know, my opponent doesn't have anything. This is basically, you know, immune. Yes, but the minute your opponent sees a Crocea on the field, they're going to set a single back row, and then this card's just going to go away. Like, you're not going to be allowed to make bad plays forever while playing this deck. It's just, it's the law of the build. You are also playing the one mandate in here. You're also going to notice we are playing only 2 MSTs. Yeah, remember, every one of these stupid spell cards has the ability to pull back an MST anyway, so it's not necessarily going to be the worst action. This is where the ha-ha funny annoyance begins, because yes, you do have this. You also do have a Harpy monster, but that's not really what I care too much about. It's just, we have that generic access to deploy a Featherstorm at literally any real point that you might need it. And floodgate conditions like this are, you know, a little bit forgettable, but you really have to build around this now. It kind of stinks that this has become more of a centralized win con sort of thing here, but the fact that we can see this shaping up to be an impactful piece of the build, I think is pretty telling of the current situation that we find ourselves in. But free advantage generation, the fact that the big cards are actually pieces that matter this, and just a generation of, you know, good control strategy doing its finest. Next up here, this is a pile of cards, honestly. Well, first of all, congratulations on getting a working 60 card pile together and actually making this work out, because it's really, really good. Now, one big thing you are going to notice here is, yeah, we are playing triple black goat laughs in this bad boy. The whole major thing that you've got to think about with this card is, man, being able to flip this and jam your opponent out of the game really makes this card more valuable now. And I know there's a little bit of an argument, you know, with the loss of dimensional barrier, maybe going towards a single or a Black Goat Labs copy, I don't think is necessarily all that bad. I mean, this deck's already going to be feeding its spells and traps into the graveyard for you for free anyway, so this is definitely going to be one of those, you want to get this down, you want to be able to work with it. I also do see we have Droplets in here, you've also got Dark Ruler No Mores. This deck notoriously doesn't really give a crap if it ends up, you know, ending the opponent on the turn, because it sets up such a crackback field that it's kind of crazy to actually see. You also do see toy boxes. The fact that, you know, we do get access to the toy box package, I think is kind of a little bit scary. You never really enjoy seeing the toy box stuff do its thing until you're like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, I get these 2 free bodies set up. Now they're going to start generating into other pieces that you'll be able to feel into. And I mean, you have the scariest of the big boss monsters down here. Also, the fact that we do get access to Chorozo is hilarious to me. It's one of those extra options, but also the fact that you are getting the Kashtira package somehow put in here is kind of crazy to me, man. You have managed to get some of the tightest monsters into this build, and it worked out. Our last list here is actually going to be Unchained good stuff here. Actually sporting off Buio, the Dawn's Light. The more that I have fundamentally seen this deck kind of developing its game plan out here, where, you know, you're just generically going to make the Area Leader, which then in turn gets you another specific dump that you are going to want, is actually really, really good. Mutiny in the Sky actually ends up being an insane card for this deck, getting you some functions here. We do get to see the fact that Shavara still acts as one of the best pieces, and also, you know, we're going with the full Fiendsmith package here, you know. All of the Fiendsmith stuff, whose entire job is to get to a Desiree. I mean, Desiree's age has been showing in the current competitive metagame. I'm not going to say that, like, the deck is necessarily doing the greatest right now, but it's definitely cracking a little bit in its ways that it's going. Also, you still get access to Abao. You also do get to see we are doing Magical Musketeer shenanigans. Link 1 into Link 1, especially for an option to go second, is actually kind of important for a deck like this. You know, you just want to have that good, consistent access. Because, I mean, this is just Fiend Toolbox. You know, you're pulling all of the best recent Fiend stuff to the table, and you're going, hey, this is what we're going to work with. These are all of the tools that we've got going for us. And it just kind of pulls itself together as an option tree. And I honestly think that that's pretty solid. So, a lot of interesting choices being shown here as, you know, the meta is developing. But please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.